Cuba's sugar industry is facing one of the worst crises in its history, with the 2024-2025 harvest reaching a historic low of less than 150,000 tons of sugar, a figure not seen in more than a century. This collapse, representing less than half of the previous season's output, leaves the country far below state production targets and confirms the breakdown of a sector that for decades was a source of national pride and a driving force of the economy. Amid this critical scenario, the Cuban government organized in August a nationwide voluntary and productive work day in the sugarcane fields, coinciding with the 99th anniversary of Fidel Castro's birth and the 65th anniversary of the Federation of Cuban Women, FMC. The call was extended to all sugar-producing provinces except Havana, Pinar del Rio, and the Isle of Youth. A television report showed leaders and women's brigades cleaning cane fields at the Amistad Cuba-Cambodia Agricultural Production Cooperative in Mayabeque. However, planned planting could not be carried out due to rains, although officials reported that 20 of the 40 planted hectares were cleaned. These types of initiatives, often scheduled around commemorative dates, aim to project an image of support for agriculture, though their actual impact on production tends to be limited. Authorities have set a target of planting 10,000 hectares this year, and hope that by 2027, 70% of sugarcane fields will be cultivated, with yields of 40 tons per hectare. Nevertheless, recent results paint a much bleaker picture. In Villa Clara, production has failed to meet targets since 2019. The Hector Rodriguez and Quinton Bandera mills recorded yields below 50% of planned output, affected by low planting rates, seed shortages, and incomplete repairs. In Granma, the harvest ended with only 5,277 tons, far from the nearly 20,000 projected, and the Enidio Diaz Machado mill, the last to operate, failed to offset losses from other plants. The situation in Camagüey is even more severe. From a target of 23,500 tons, only 4,000 were produced. The Carlos Manuel de Céspedes mill lost 87% of milling time due to breakdowns and shortages of supplies. In Guantánamo, production totaled just 2,900 tons, 38% of the target, with delayed startups and persistent operational issues. In Las Tunas, the Antonio Guiterres mill achieved only 16% of its goal due to stoppages caused by lack of basic resources, marking its worst historical performance. Ciego de Avila was unable to start up the Primero de Enero mill at all, due to an unpaid electricity debt, forcing worker reassignments and delaying wages. This crisis, which began with the mass closure of sugar mills in 2002, now prevents Cuba from meeting its domestic consumption needs, estimated at between 600,000 and 700,000 tons annually, and forces the country to import sugar to cover the minimum demand. The sugar harvest, once a symbol of prosperity and an essential part of Cuban identity, today reflects neglect, improvisation, and a lack of resources, while the government leans on the rhetoric of voluntary work in an attempt to revive a sector showing no clear signs of recovery.